God's advice today. Have you ever felt that God is trying to speak to you, yet in the busyness of life, His signs go unnoticed? This message invites you to pause, reflect, and open your heart. Perhaps this is exactly what you needed to hear today. Watch until the end with openness, and if these words touch you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell to receive more messages like this. Don't forget to check the pinned comment for a 1-minute prayer and a recommended message to help strengthen your faith even more. God says, "My beloved son, I know the weariness that does not show in the body but weighs deeply on the soul, the silent exhaustion no one notices, yet it drains strength from within. I know the battles fought in your thoughts, the nights when sleep did not come, the tears you hid so as not to worry those around you. I saw every moment when your heart asked for rest and your mind could not quiet down. I saw when you tried to be strong beyond what you could bear, when you took on responsibilities that were not yours, when you carried pains I never placed upon you. None of this went unnoticed by me. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Matthew chapter 11 verse 28. My care for you has never ceased, not for a single moment. Even when you felt alone, I was sustaining your breath, guarding your mind, and protecting your heart from breaking completely. Do you feel that you are ready for a deep change in your life and in the lives of those you love? Sometimes all we need is a small step of faith to open the doors of abundance, peace, and the blessings God has already prepared for us. A simple 1-minute prayer can be the beginning of a spiritual journey that transforms the inside and reflects on the outside. If you desire to attract more light, balance, and prosperity, spiritual and material, click on the first comment. There you will find a simple practice, lovingly guided, that can help you connect more deeply with the divine presence in your life. This time was not wasted, it was silent preparation. Every tear fell like a seed in fertile soil, creating deep roots of faith, maturity, and resilience. Now, what was watered in secret begins to bloom before your eyes. Comment, I give my weariness to the Lord and rest in His care. You carried the expectations of others, responsibilities imposed on you, and guilt that did not come from me. You tried to please, to sustain, to save, to protect, and in the process, you forgot yourself. But I am removing, layer by layer, every weight that accumulated within you. I am cleansing your emotional memory, touching old wounds, undoing lies that crept into your heart. You were not created to live crushed, but to live guided. I am teaching you to release what does not belong to you, to trust more than you control, to rest without guilt. Your value is not in what you do, but in who you are to me. I chose you, I called you, and I sustain you. This is a time of deep relief, where your soul learns to breathe again. Comment, I release what does not belong to me and receive God's relief. I know repetitive thoughts tried to steal your peace, forming storms within you and creating a weariness that did not come from circumstances, but from an overburdened mind. I know how many times you were pressured by memories, fears, and scenarios that never came from me, images repeating to paralyze you and make you doubt the path. But listen to my voice above all others, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and self-discipline. 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7. I did not form you to live imprisoned by fear, but to walk with discernment and peace. I am calling you to a higher place, where your mind finds clarity and your heart regains direction. I am removing the spiritual fog that tried to confuse your steps and distort your perception. What seemed obscure begins to take shape. What was confused begins to align in the right time. My light is dispelling every shadow around you. My truth is silencing every lie that tried to settle in. You are not lost, not late, not forgotten. You are being repositioned, adjusted, and prepared to see with new eyes and walk with renewed firmness. Comment: God's voice brings clarity and peace to my mind. What the enemy tried to extinguish in you, I am now rekindling with fresh fire born of my spirit, reigniting everything that seemed extinguished. What they tried to bury in silence, pain, and forgetfulness, I am resurrecting with purpose, giving meaning even to the wounds that marked your path. What seemed destroyed beyond repair, I am rebuilding with firm, patient, and loving hands, restoring not only what is seen, but also what was lost within. There is a reason you were so pressured. Your next step carries impact, and your testimony reaches farther than you imagine. Your story carries authority because it was written in the midst of resistance. Your perseverance, even while wounded, became a threat to the kingdom of darkness, for it reveals a faith that did not break. The enemy tried to intimidate you because he recognizes what I placed within you from the beginning. But he cannot touch what I have guarded. This is the time when your inner strength will be renewed, not by the absence of battles, but by the deep certainty of who walks with you in every one of them. Comment: God is restoring everything that was wounded in me. Did you know that there is an effective method to attract greater financial prosperity? This technique can help transform your deep-seated beliefs and change the way you perceive reality. It had a profound impact on my life, and we would like to invite you to explore this special practice. When we trust that God wants to act in our lives, we gain the courage to ask Him directly. God desires to bless each of us in a unique and wonderful way. That's why it's important to seek His blessings with faith and confidence, believing that He has a special plan for you. If you would like to support our work and the team dedicated to bringing content that inspires and transforms, we invite you to check out our product. The link is available in the first comment, so you can discover how this technique can also help you on your journey. Your contribution helps us continue sharing messages that make a difference. We deeply appreciate your trust and support. My beloved, every time you thought about giving up, I breathed life into you. Every time you wanted to move backward, I pushed you forward with my invisible hand. It was not you who stood firm by your own merit. The Lord is the one who watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. Psalm 121 verse 5. I was the one who sustained your steps when your legs were trembling. I was the one who held your heart when everything seemed to collapse around you. That feeling that something great is about to happen is not an illusion, it is my spirit preparing you. The movement has already begun. While you thought nothing was happening, commands were released in heaven. Doors began to move. Paths were opened. I was arranging details you could not see, aligning people, timing, and circumstances to meet you at the right moment. What felt like resistance was actually redirection. What felt like delay was preparation. I have been guiding you forward even when your vision was limited, protecting you from what you did not yet understand. Trust that I am leading you with purpose, strength, and precision, and that every step ahead is being sustained by my hand. Comment: the Lord sustains me and leads me forward. There were moments when silence felt like abandonment, but it was alignment. There were apparent delays that were, in truth, protection. Everything you lived through had a purpose. Nothing was lost. I am transforming waiting into maturity, pain into wisdom, and tears into seeds. I am teaching you that trusting is not standing still, but remaining steady even when you do not understand. Each piece is finding its place in my perfect timing. What seemed confusing begins to make sense. What seemed slow begins to accelerate. I do not fail in the timelines I establish. Nothing arrives late and nothing comes early. Everything unfolds at the exact moment it must. Even now, what you thought was stagnant is moving beneath the surface. I am working beyond your awareness, weaving together outcomes that will soon become visible. Stay grounded in faith. What I am building in you during the wait will sustain you in the fulfillment. Comment: I trust God's perfect timing for my life. My child, not a single tear fell in vain. I collected them one by one. Those who sow with tears will reap with joy. Psalm 126 verse 5. Your tears watered ancient promises, dreams that had been sleeping, and paths you had not yet seen. What is coming will be so extraordinary that it will surprise you, not only because of what you will receive, but because of who you have become in the process. I did not prepare you only to achieve, but to sustain. I did not strengthen you only to arrive, but to remain. What I place in your hands will be a testimony of my power at work in your life. You will recognize that every moment of endurance shaped your character, deepened your faith, and expanded your capacity. What once hurt you will now speak for you. What once weakened you will now confirm that I was with you all along, turning pain into purpose and faith into harvest. Comment: my tears are producing a powerful harvest. You asked for answers, but I gave you understanding. You asked for deliverance, and I gave you maturity. You asked for open doors, and I gave you vision. I am deepening your faith, expanding your spiritual authority, and strengthening your identity. I do not want you to receive blessings and lose your essence. I want you to sustain what is coming without losing your sensitivity. That is why I worked on your inner life before changing your outer circumstances. I healed old wounds, aligned your emotions, and restored your ability to trust. What is coming will meet a prepared heart, steady, aware, and rooted in truth. I have shaped you so that what you receive will not overwhelm you, confuse you, or pull you away from who you are in me. You will be able to carry my promises with humility, wisdom, and balance. Nothing arriving in your life will come to destroy you from within, but to confirm the growth that has taken place. The season ahead will reveal not only what I give you, but who you have become through the process. Comment: God is preparing me to sustain His promises. The past does not define your future when I am the one writing your story. Behold, I make all things new. Revelation chapter 21 verse 5. Memories, old fears, and wounds that insisted on returning are being healed now. You tried to be strong for so long that you forgot what it feels like to be cared for. I am wrapping you once again in my love. I am reminding you that you are a son, not only a warrior. You do not need to prove your strength every day. You are allowed to rest in my arms. The enemy tried to steal your joy because he knows that a joyful heart cannot be shaken. He tried to weaken your faith because he knows that when you believe, heaven moves, doors open, and chains break. But he failed. He could not rewrite what I already declared over your life. What was meant to destroy you refined you. What was meant to stop you prepared you. I am restoring your laughter, renewing your hope, and healing what you thought would never heal. You are not forgotten. You are deeply loved. And from this moment forward, your story moves under my grace, my power, and my perfect care. Never underestimate the difficult days you faced. They revealed a strength within you that you did not know existed. You walked through battles many could not imagine, yet you did not lose a single one. because I fought for you when you were tired, confused, and afraid. This is a new time. A new season begins now. Walk with lightness. Live with faith. Rest in my care. You no longer need to carry what I already took from your hands. What I promised, I will fulfill. What I started, I will complete. Nothing in your life is unfinished by accident. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where I planned you to be, even when it did not make sense to you. I am aligning what seemed delayed. I am restoring what seemed lost. Ahead of you there is peace, growth, and fulfillment. The best is not behind you. The best is still before you, and you will walk into it with confidence, faith, and a heart at rest. My beloved child, remain aware that you have never walked alone, not even in the moments when silence felt heavy and answers seemed distant. While you believed your steps were uncertain, I was already designing precise paths beneath your feet. Every delay, every redirection, every closed door was part of a careful orchestration meant to guide you to places where your presence will be essential. I activated connections you could not yet perceive, aligned encounters that will unfold at the right moment, and shifted circumstances to remove you from environments that no longer matched your calling. Even the separations that wounded your heart were acts of protection, not abandonment. I was clearing your path, lifting burdens that exhausted your soul, distancing influences that would have drained your spiritual strength and confused your future. What you felt as isolation was not rejection, it was reservation. You were being set apart. My presence has been surrounding you more than you realize, growing stronger, closer, more perceptible, even in moments when you thought nothing was happening. You will notice me in the quiet rhythms of your days, when you wake and your mind feels unusually calm, when you walk and sense a subtle clarity, when you pause and the silence feels full rather than empty. I have not left you for a single second. While you assumed time was passing without meaning, I was shaping your inner life so you could sustain what is approaching. Your faith has been tested, your patience stretched, your courage refined, your trust deepened. These tests were never designed to make you fail, they were meant to help you flourish. Nothing you lived was wasted. Nothing you lost was truly gone. Nothing that caused you pain will remain a source of sorrow once you see what I am about to reveal. Your thoughts have shifted recently. You have reflected more deeply, questioned more honestly, sought more intentionally. This is not confusion, it is expansion. Growth often feels uncomfortable because it requires leaving familiar limitations behind. I am enlarging your spiritual perception. Where your eyes once saw only obstacles, they will now discern purpose. Where your hands once trembled with fear, they will now move with confidence. Where your mind once felt lost, it will now recognize direction. I am removing the veil that the enemy tried to place over your vision, a veil meant to keep you looking down in defeat. But I have always called you to look upward. What is coming will not be small, discreet, or silent. I have prepared changes that will transform areas of your life that have remained stagnant for far too long. Your home will be affected, your relationships reshaped, your emotions stabilized, your outlook on the future renewed. You are stepping into a season where alignment replaces confusion, where clarity replaces doubt, where movement replaces stagnation. In this process of transformation, every whisper of doubt you chose to silence and every act of faith that seemed insignificant has woven resilience into your spirit. This resilience is not a rigid armor that makes you cold or distant, it is a divine flexibility that allows you to bend without breaking and rise with even greater strength. After every trial, What you experience as a rebirth is not the end of the journey but confirmation that you have developed deep roots in ground I personally prepared for you. Reality tried to conceal the greatness I placed within you, but it failed. You continued forward even when you had very little left. That perseverance opened spiritual doors that many never reach. You advanced when retreat would have been easier, trusted when surrender felt tempting, and believed when evidence was scarce. Your silent struggle did not go unnoticed. At this very moment, I am expanding your understanding because your heart needs to grasp the scale of what is moving around you. There were days that seemed ordinary, repetitive, even dull, yet nothing about them was ordinary in the spiritual realm. Every step you took, no matter how small it appeared, carried weight beyond what you could see. Your consistency mattered. Your endurance mattered. Your quiet faith created ripples in places you cannot yet comprehend. You underestimated the power of your belief because you focused too much on your weaknesses. But even when your faith trembled, it was enough to move heaven. It was never about intensity, it was about sincerity. You believed, and that belief altered realities far beyond your awareness. While the enemy sought to intimidate you, I was strengthening you. While he observed your movements looking for vulnerabilities, my light surrounded you so completely that nothing could reach you without my permission. You faced attacks that seemed greater than your strength, yet they did not land as intended. I intercepted forces that would have shattered your peace. I guarded areas of your soul whose fragility you did not even recognize. The battle has been real, but my protection has been greater. There were moments when your hands shook with fear, moments when your voice broke under the weight of pain, days when your heart closed itself to avoid further wounds. I saw it all. More than that, I was present in every moment, closer than your own breath. When you lay down believing the end was near, I breathed life back into you. When you saw no exit, I opened paths where none seemed possible. When you felt completely depleted, I placed strength where your energy had run out. You are still here because my hand has sustained you. Nothing the enemy attempted succeeded, because no force exceeds my will. He tried to convince you that you had wasted time, but time itself rests in my hands. He tried to make you believe opportunities were lost, but I am the one who restores and multiplies. What felt delayed was being refined. What felt denied was being protected. What felt broken was being prepared for something stronger. Now lift your eyes and steady your heart. What lies ahead carries the mark of my intention. The endurance you developed, the wisdom you gained, the humility you learned, and the faith you guarded will all converge in this next season. You are not entering it unprepared. You are entering it equipped, strengthened, and aligned. Trust the work that has been done within you. Trust the changes you have sensed but could not fully explain. Trust the quiet assurance that has begun to replace your fear. I am with you, and I will continue to reveal each step at the right time. Walk forward with confidence. What is unfolding now is not coincidence, it is fulfillment. I want you to read this slowly and let every word settle deep within you. Nothing you have lived has been wasted, and nothing you have endured has been invisible. When doors closed in front of you, it was not because your story had ended, but because I was protecting chapters that were still forming. What looked like denial was, in truth, redirection. I saw the weight you carried when fear tried to disguise itself as logic, when doubt whispered that your opportunities were running out. But opportunities tied to your life do not expire, because they are connected to purpose, not to time. Every moment you thought you were falling behind, I was quietly positioning you ahead. I observed every restless night, every heavy breath, every internal question you were too tired to voice. I was present when memories resurfaced without warning, when emotions felt stronger than you could explain. None of this escaped my sight. Even when you felt alone inside your own thoughts, you were never unattended. I was guarding you, strengthening you in ways you did not yet recognize, preparing you for what your heart is only beginning to sense. You were not attacked merely in what you do, but in who you are, because your identity carries weight in the spiritual realm. That is why certain areas that once felt stable suddenly felt fragile. This was not exposure meant to shame you, it was revelation meant to heal you. I allowed you to see your vulnerabilities so you would stop hiding them from me. Weakness placed in my hands becomes fertile ground for strength to grow. Those moments when your mind raced endlessly, when anxiety tightened your chest and the future felt overwhelming, I was there steadying your inner world. When tears came without clear reason, I collected each one. When your thoughts told you there was no way forward, I whispered hope into the quiet spaces of your soul. You have no idea how many storms I blocked before they reached you, how many emotional collapses were prevented by my unseen intervention. Much of what you could not understand at the time was not loss, but liberation. I was removing what could not follow you into what is next. There are battles you have carried that did not begin in the present season. Some of your struggles were born in moments where you lacked support, understanding, or safe refuge. Old wounds found new voices, not to destroy you, but because they were ready to be healed. What you are feeling now is the result of layers being uncovered, not because you are breaking, but because you are being restored. I only heal what is revealed. I only transform what is brought into the light. That intensity you feel inside is not confusion, it is alignment. I am touching places in your soul that remained untouched for years. This process may feel uncomfortable, but it is sacred. Your history is unfolding with intention, and the trust you are learning now will become the foundation of what you will sustain later. Even when the path feels solitary, every step is illuminated. You are not wandering, you are being guided with precision. Understand this truth deeply: the greater the promise, the more intense the resistance before fulfillment. The pressure you have felt increasing is not a sign that you are far from victory, but proof that you are close. Opposition does not waste energy on what lacks purpose. You have been confronted because your next step carries impact beyond yourself. Your life is meant to produce fruit that cannot be silenced. Your journey will become a testimony that speaks even when you remain quiet. Intimidation rises when destiny approaches, but intimidation is not evidence of weakness, it is recognition of importance. That inner stirring you cannot fully explain, the sense that something significant is shifting within you, is real. It is spiritual movement. It is the sound of transition forming before it becomes visible. What you feel is the announcement of elevation. I am moving your life into deeper territory, higher ground, wider vision. This is not imagination, it is preparation. There is reconstruction happening in the depths of your being. I am reshaping your inner structure so you can carry what is coming without losing yourself. You have been formed for more than you currently understand. I have seen your heart begin to dream again, even while fear lingered nearby. Courage does not mean the absence of fear, it means hope choosing to rise anyway. You allowed hope to return. You allowed my work to have room within you. You searched for me in silence when words felt impossible. That desire to begin again did not originate from your strength. It was awakened by my spirit within you. I will not allow you to be consumed by insecurity. I will not permit your story to end in fragments. New chapters are being written as old pain is being erased. Renewal is approaching your life steadily, not abruptly, but intentionally. You believed you were too exhausted to start again, unaware that restoration was happening while you kept moving forward. The strength you feel now is not self-generated, it flows from me. You have been sustained in ways that defy logic. You faced battles that would have halted many, yet you continued, even without understanding how. That perseverance is not merely human, it is spiritual endurance. My hand has been upon your life so deeply that even your tired steps were guided with purpose. Nothing about your persistence is accidental. You are standing today because you were upheld when you should have fallen. Some people could not remain beside you, not because love was absent, but because the path I designed for you was not theirs to walk. You noticed an unusual distancing, a quiet reorganization of relationships and environments. This was not rejection, it was divine separation. Certain connections cannot accompany you into the future I am preparing. Your next blessings require new spaces, new alignments, new atmospheres. What is leaving is making room. What feels empty now will soon be filled with what matches the weight of your calling. Trust this process. You are not being reduced, you are being refined. You are not losing, you are being positioned. Walk forward with confidence. I am ahead of you, behind you, and within you, ensuring that what I have begun in you will be completed. My beloved son, I speak to you from a place deeper than noise and stronger than fear. I have been watching every step you took when no one else noticed, every moment you chose silence instead of explanation, every time you held your heart steady while the world tried to rush you. What you have been experiencing is not loss, not emptiness, not sadness without meaning. It is refinement. I have been removing weights you no longer need to carry, not because you are weak, but because where you are going requires freedom. A light future cannot be built while clinging to old burdens. That is why you felt the urge to withdraw, to observe more than speak, to reflect more than react. This inward turning is not loneliness, it is preparation. I am training your spirit to recognize truth without needing confirmation. I am sharpening your discernment so you can walk forward without confusion. You are becoming sensitive to what once passed unnoticed because your inner sight is awakening. This season is shaping you into a man who moves with intention, not impulse, with wisdom, not fear. You have begun to perceive things others cannot explain, subtle shifts, quiet warnings, gentle confirmations that rise within you before events unfold. This is not imagination, it is discernment being activated. You will need it for what lies ahead. I am not preparing you merely to receive blessings, but to sustain them. I do not want abundance to overwhelm you or success to erode your peace. I want you whole. That is why the pressure intensified. The temptation to give up grew stronger because you are closer than you think. Resistance always increases near transition. When everything feels heavier, it is because cycles are closing. I am bringing one season to completion and opening another with precision. Nothing you endured was accidental. Every wound carried meaning. Every tear planted a seed. Every delay developed roots you could not see at the time. You are standing on soil enriched by perseverance, watered by endurance, strengthened by faith that survived uncertainty. I am aligning the details of your journey with such care that when the moment arrives, you will look back and understand why each step mattered. I am reinforcing your identity because that is where the attacks were aimed. The enemy tried to convince you that you are defined by failure, that your value depends on performance, that your worth decreases when you struggle. But your identity does not originate in what you do, it is anchored in who you are in me. You are strong even when you feel fragile. You are capable even when doubt whispers otherwise. You are valuable even when you cannot see your own worth. You are loved even in moments when you feel unseen. My voice is calling you forward into a place where your identity will be restored, not rebuilt from scratch, but revealed as it always was. There is a growth anointing resting upon your life, and it is unfolding quietly, steadily, undeniably. You have been expanded from the inside out. Emotionally, spiritually, mentally, you have gained depth. You were equipped in silence, shaped when applause was absent, strengthened where no one clapped for you. While others measured progress by visible results, I was cultivating resilience within you. And soon, you will realize you are walking on a level higher than the one you once knew. Fears that once paralyzed you will lose their grip. Challenges that once overwhelmed you will no longer define you. You will not shrink where you once felt small. You will not surrender where you once collapsed. Confidence will rise, not from pride, but from clarity. You will know who you are, and that knowing will steady your steps. I am leading you into a posture of courage, not loud or arrogant, but firm and unshakable. Your next experiences with me will be intense, not to overwhelm you, but to confirm my closeness. I will make my presence known in moments you do not expect, during ordinary days, quiet nights, simple routines. I will answer questions your soul has carried for years. I will reveal paths you never imagined walking. Opportunities will appear that were never on your radar. My intervention will reach areas you believed were beyond restoration. What was delayed will be released. What was stolen will return multiplied. What was blocked will open before your eyes. I have been following your thoughts, guiding your understanding, preparing you to perceive dimensions of my work that go beyond surface-level faith. You are being taught to see with spiritual clarity, to recognize movement even before manifestation. There are places within your heart that have opened recently, not because you forced them open, but because my presence touched areas that were dormant. You felt internal shifts you could not explain, as if something within you was being reordered. This is alignment. I am synchronizing your soul with what is coming. I will no longer allow you to live as someone who hides or minimizes himself. You are ready to occupy a position of authority that always belonged to you but was stolen by voices that sought to intimidate you. When circumstances tried to dim your light, I was showing you that your light does not depend on conditions. It was ignited by me. It cannot be extinguished by rejection, judgment, frustration, or spiritual opposition. You carry a light that predates opinions and survives storms. It was placed within you before your first breath. That is why every attempt to diminish you failed. You have been targeted because you are a carrier of powerful identity. Opposition arose because of the impact you will have once you fully recognize who you are in me. Your battles were not small because your calling is not small. You faced demands that required strength you did not believe you possessed. Many times you thought you were at your limit, yet you continued. That perseverance was not the result of human effort alone. I carried you when your strength faded. I upheld you when your emotions could no longer respond. I moved you forward when your feet lost stability. Now I will begin to show you the strength that was forged within you during this process. A spiritual maturity is rising within you, not shaped by ease, but by adversity that tested your faith and stretched your endurance. The trials you faced were not wasted moments, they became doors to deeper revelation and clarity. While you believed you were being broken, I was refining your character, removing what was unnecessary and strengthening what truly mattered. Every struggle you thought was taking something from you was, in truth, adding depth, wisdom, and authority to your life. You gained discernment to see beyond appearances, endurance to stand when others fall, compassion to understand pain without judgment, and spiritual authority to walk with confidence. You are not the same man who entered this season. You carry new vision, steadiness, and understanding within your spirit. The fear that once tried to hold you back no longer has power over you. You are prepared for what is ahead. Walk forward without hesitation. Trust the process that shaped you. Trust the growth that emerged in silence. You are aligned with my purpose, restored in your identity, and strengthened for the next chapter. What awaits you will require the depth you now carry. And you are ready. I hope this message has been an inspiration to you. If it touched your heart, write Amen in the comments and share it with someone who also needs to hear this word. I invite you to click on the first comment, where you will find a special prayer and a suggestion to strengthen your spiritual journey. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to receive more inspiring content like this. See you tomorrow.